1986 was a big year for us. We were 7. Suddenly there was an explosion of films available in a way they weren't just a few years earlier. As well as the movie theater and the drive-in, independent video stores were popping up all over the city, giving us access to films we missed at the theater, or weren't allowed to see at the theater.
Because the video industry is booming, the future of the movie theater is not known.
In celebration of its 40th anniversary, we're revisiting the movie year of 1986. Old favorites, movies we saw once back then but haven't since, and ones we've never seen before. So let's get to it. Let's see what's at the movies in 1986. One of the very first releases that year was Head Office, produced by Deborah Hill.
Hi, nice to see you.
Who'd had a fruitful collaboration with John Carpenter, producing and co-writing Halloween and The Fog.
So, you know, Texas has such great women. You know?
It's a basic white-collar work comedy. Judge Reinhold plays some schmuck who gets hired by a corporation because his dad's a senator, but instead of running it into the ground, he winds up improving profits, weeding out corruption, and by the end, he's the new boss.
Can you say hi to my girlfriend?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, honey. I love you.
The ad for Head Office is pretty deceitful. No one is that excited about Judge Reinhold, so the ad ballyhoos Danny DeVito and Rick Moranis. You'd think they had big roles, but they're just in the opening sequence, before dying.
Starring Judge Reinhold from Beverly Hills Cop, Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters, Eddie Albert from Green Acres, Danny DeVito from Romancing the Stone and The Jewel of the Nile, Jane Seymour from England.
No, there's not a hit movie called England. The best I can come up with is her fucking place of birth. And it's not like this is her first movie. She's got 15 years of credits they could have chosen from.
I just had my baby about three months before, and I'd been breastfeeding, and they told me my breasts were too big, so would I please stop feeding so that for the test I could look like a little girl rather than a new mother. So I stopped feeding my baby, and that's a tough thing to do.
QLN Chicago, it's 7:30 a.m. and it's already...
To me, the neatest thing about Head Office is Phil Hartman doing the voice of a radio announcer.
2 degrees out there. Ouch, get me a cocktail.
A few months later, he'll do another news voice in Ruthless People.
Just 45 minutes ago, Mr. Stone received a call from a man demanding a ransom.
Jeez, Hollywood. Can we get the man a proper on-screen role? Now, this is a depressing fact, but Phil Hartman only gets to live another 12 years after this movie. His film career barely lasted longer than the amount of time between the release of Avatar 1 and 2.
And the fact is that one person and one person only bears the full responsibility for this affair. My wife.
Head Office was filmed in Toronto, so there's some familiar street locations, and a quick appearance by the smoking man from The X-Files. There's some quick nudity that you'd get in the early days of PG-13 movies, but overall, it's a real dud for us. I wouldn't be surprised to learn this movie has a fervent fan base who consider it a hidden gem, but I doubt we'll watch another movie we care as little about as this one.
I say you two guys are two of the biggest assholes I've ever met.
The following week saw the release of Black Moon Rising, co-written by John Carpenter. Now we're talking. I think it's charming Deborah Hill and John Carpenter both had a new movie playing side by side that first week of 1986.
I like action-adventure movies. Chase scenes, gunfights, pretty girls.
You hear me, asshole? In the opening scene, Tommy Lee Jones foils a gas station stick-up.
Just trying to help you, son.
I like spotting the Dune comic book adaptation on the spinner rack. Yes, sir, they expected David Lynch's Dune to be a big hit and planned for merchandising to rival Star Wars, even producing action figures.
Even a $40 million budget and color couldn't save the science fiction epic Dune from box office disaster.
Tommy Lee Jones plays a high-tech security hacker who steals valuable corporate information. I suppose technically this is illegal, but the police are willing to look the other way, so long as he occasionally provides them with intel. The cop bossing him around, threatening to send him to prison if he doesn't help out, is played by footballer Bubba Smith, better known for starring in the Police Academy series.
I said, sure. I didn't even ask them about money.
So Tommy Lee Jones has all this top secret shit, but one of his rivals is trying to steal it from him. So he hides it in the back of this super awesome rocket car these three bozos have been testing out in the desert. Sort of like Princess Leia hiding the Death Star plans in R2-D2. But before Tommy Lee Jones can retrieve them, Linda Hamilton steals the car. She works for a massive car theft ring run by Robert Vaughn, who, depending on your age, you might know as the man from U.N.C.L.E., or the bad guy in Superman 3, or the guy in Basketball, or maybe you've never seen him at all.
If the Tooth Fairy came to you one night under your pillow and said, you can have any role in any film, do you have any kind of dream of a portrayal you'd like to do?
Well, I don't think Hitler has ever been done correctly yet.
All these stolen cars are kept in these high-tech twin towers. You might even say a hidden fortress. Bubba Smith is breathing down Tommy Lee Jones' ass to get those secret files. So now he has to figure out a way to break in and steal back the car. There's a hilarious sequence where the car's inventors are investigating the building, and one of them, who's deaf or maybe even mentally challenged, gets hit by a car and is sent flying. It's almost as over the top as the car hit scene in Meet Joe Black.
Could you open your jacket? I mean, this man is a fashion player. You want to see a vest, folks? This is one of the great vests of the Western world. This is made for this Mr. Vaughn. There. Look at that. Huh? He could fly well. It looks like Superman's cape.
Tommy Lee Jones gets his ass kicked in this movie a lot. There's a really good sequence of him struggling to drive after one such beating, showing us how his brain is all messed up. I must say, this is one of the most realistic elements I've ever seen in an action movie. Usually the hero shakes off concussions and fractured skulls like they were nothing.
She's a thief, she's a woman, she's bright, she's aggressive, she's corporate level thief, and there's just a lot more. She's much more specific and a lot more rich.
After bedding Linda Hamilton in a sex scene just like the one in Terminator, Tommy Lee Jones gets into the first building. Then he has to shoot a rope to crawl across to the second one. I wonder if this set piece was inspired by the true story of Philippe Petit, who walked a tightrope between the two World Trade Center towers.
And early this morning, rigged a 140-foot steel cable between the two buildings using some sort of crossbow device. Petit was charged with disorderly conduct and criminal trespass and received a quick sentence, doing a free show for children in Central Park.
Of course, Tommy Lee Jones rescues the girl and gets to drive the rocket car. It's pretty exciting, until the movie botches the killing of the main villain. Instead of giving him a dramatic death scene, they speed up the film, so him getting run over looks like something out of Benny Hill. Tommy Lee Jones flies the rocket car through the air, crashing into the second tower.
It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11 again.
I remember after 9/11, there was a moratorium on showing the Twin Towers. They were digitally erasing them from the skyline and movies. The Simpsons pulled that episode where they visit New York from syndication. So I wonder if Black Moon Rising also got the yank from TV screenings for a little while.
In the mind of John Carpenter, Black Moon Rising.
Saturday at 2.
The movie ends happy, with Tommy Lee Jones and Linda Hamilton back in bed. And the final moment has him almost punching her right in the face. Yep, that's definitely a John Carpenter moment.
And my television show, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., has just been voted the most popular television show in the world. And I'm downstairs getting out of my limousine, and there are these hundreds and hundreds of screaming teenage girls waiting for moi.
I sort of remember this movie as a kid, because I associated the title with the Care Bears. I always read it in my mind as Clan of the Care Bears. Funny enough, just a few weeks later, Care Bears 2 came out. I wonder if these two ever played at the same theater.
I asked Miss Hannah what effect the success of Splash had had since she'd come, after all, from nowhere.
Well, I don't really feel like I came from nowhere. I mean, I've been working since I was about 12.
What's your name?
Daryl Hannah.
How old are you?
16.
16.
Okay, do you have a job?
See, I don't have just a regular job. I model. And so I just went to an agency and they get me the jobs.
Taking place during the period Neanderthals existed, alongside blonde-haired, blue-eyed embodiments of the beauty standard, an orphan baby is adopted by a clan of cave people, and she never fits in, eventually abandoning her child and walking off into the sunset, probably looking for more people like her, but just as likely to starve to death.
Roger reviews a film based on a much-loved book
a film that has been held up and released for a number of months.
And you know, Gene, as long as they've held up this movie for release, they still haven't had time to make clips that can be shown on television.
I wonder why.
This is one of those cases where a very long book got condensed down into a 90-minute movie no one was happy with. Fans of the book didn't enjoy a movie that didn't match their vision, and general audiences weren't much interested.
Did you agree to do the film before Splash came out and was a box office success?
Yeah.
It seems, though, that it was an ill-prepared film from the outset. I mean, that they didn't really have a clear idea of how they should go about it.
I'm not sure it was ill-prepared. It was just, it's a tough one to prepare.
I give the movie credit for being adventurous enough to have none of the Neanderthals speak English.
Shima. Shima.
The filmmakers could have given us subtitles, but instead rely on the audience to interpret the actor's performance to figure out what is being communicated.
So it's like Italian reversed, you know, where Italian is like, you know, da 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 da, and they make gestures with their hands. We sort of speak with our hands and gesture with our sounds, you know.
I'll be honest, I didn't always know what the hell they were talking about.
They went into this with not a thought in their heads about what they were trying to say.
What held up this movie is whether they decided whether to talk or whether to use subtitles or grunt.
Audiences probably also found the movie very unpleasant, as it stays true to how early humans must have behaved, mating like animals. All the sex scenes are essentially rape scenes. The most shocking being the one where the leader tries doing her right in the middle of the clan's dinner table, but he has whiskey dick and can't get it up. I initially figured Cave Bear was a metaphorical title, but the movie does include a gnarly bear fight scene.
Then suddenly there's this very explicit and brutal sexual scene. Then another scene with bear baiting and a bear killing that is absolutely cruel and horrible.
I was surprised to learn in the end credits that Booger from Revenge of the Nerds was in here somewhere. Daryl Hannah went on to better things.
Well, Daryl, it's nice talking with you, and I'm glad you played Annelle because you play it very, very well.
Oh, thank you.
Even though I still probably would never have cast you.
Well, thanks you were the director. I'm glad Herbert was the director.
Is now starring in a major motion picture. It's called Longshot. Please welcome Tim Conway.
The Longshots is a comedy starring Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, directed by Paul Bartel, about a group of friends trying to get rich betting mafia money at the racetrack. I know these guys were funny on the Carol Burnett show, but we didn't laugh at this once.
Now this movie, The Long Shot.
Yeah.
Now is it a funny movie?
No.
You can tell right from the opening that this isn't going to be a classic racetrack movie, like The Killing or even Let It Ride. The theme song is one of those tracks that just repeats the movie title over and over.
The long shot.
The long shot?
The most interesting thing about The Long Shot is the casting. Lorraine's dad from Back to the Future is the mobster.
Who the hell is John F. Kennedy?
And the great Edie McClurg plays the wife of ugly old Harvey Korman. Now, I know she's no Lola Falana, but I feel like she's way out of his league.
This is called a stomach claw, and I use it to finish off wrestlers.
Oh, all right.
Especially, you reach right in here, and you grab the abdomen.
Dick, you're so silly.
In the end credits, we see the hotel clerk was played by Don Draper. Nice.
Sam Kinison is very funny.
Is he?
1986 isn't exactly starting out with a bang, especially if you were a kid. Hold on, January isn't over yet, and they're about to release one of the most exciting movies of 1986.
Louis Gossett Jr. Iron Eagle, rated PG-13.
Jason, I think boys your age and even younger will look at this movie and think, oh, that guy's got to be having the most fun in the world. Did you have a good time?
Why did the studio release Iron Eagle in January? Why not wait until closer to summer? Sure, obviously Top Gun is going to be the bigger aviation movie, but I feel like kids would have identified with Iron Eagle more. It's like Rambo crossed with the Goonies.
Are you out of your mind, man?
The core group of kids in the movie are all army brats, which means they have access to motorbikes, and airplanes, and monster trucks. They live on an Air Force base and get to go into top-secret government war rooms.
I'm gonna get my tip in the ringer if the general catches me showing you this stuff.
When tensions rise between the hero and the bully, they don't settle their differences by challenging each other to a foot race, or a basketball game, or even a fist fight. They have a motorcycle versus airplane race. Here they are. These high school kids can barely see over the dashboard, and they're flying planes. What could be cooler? And later, when the hero wants to go blow off some steam, he's shooting down enemy aircraft in a multi-million-dollar flight simulator, like it's the world's most realistic video game. The entire movie is a kid's wish fulfillment.
It's beyond any experience I've ever had in my entire life.
Unfortunately, there's these foreign governments who hate America and all she stands for. The movie never really specifies who, but their leader is played by Hercule Poirot. They capture the hero's father, throw him in some kind of Middle Eastern prison, and plan to execute him. At first the kids figure, no problem. Reagan's in the White House, it's morning in America again, so they'll just bomb the shit out of whatever is Stan and get his father back.
Everything is gonna work out. Now those dudes won't mess with us. The Air Force will kick ass if they do.
Now we got this guy in the Oval Office who don't take shit from no gimpy little countries. Why you think they call him Ronnie Reagan?
He says that so proudly, but the Ronnie Reagan nickname was meant to mock him. It was in reference to the proposed Star Wars defense system, where lasers in outer space were supposed to zap nuclear missiles before they hit the U.S.
And that's a sad commentary on the human condition. Wouldn't it be better to save lives than to avenge them?
I wonder what Reagan thought about Iron Eagle. The Reagan Library has a list of all the films he screened during his presidency, and on March 1st, 1986, he watched Iron Eagle.
And we can, in Michael's words, beat it.
Despite all the big talk from the kids, turns out the U.S. isn't willing to go to war over one lousy pilot who let himself get captured.
Colonel, don't lie to me. Are you guys planning something or not?
We got nothing on the boards.
They ain't gonna sit down and take this crap, are they?
They won't do shit and you know it.
So our hero decides he's going to bust his dad out himself, and gets all his friends to pitch in by sneaking secret plans out of the Air Force Base. All the staff there are these chubby, nerdy simpletons who get outwitted by children.
Joni!
It's not a flattering portrayal of the government. But hey, that's how you know the movie's aimed at kids. They rule, and the adults all look like assholes.
The relationship between myself and that kid does more for the future of America, and especially young minds are concerned, than any kind of legislation or picketing or whatever it is. They see that this relationship is so nice.
The final piece of the puzzle is getting Louis Gossett Jr. to agree to fly to whatever foreign country Dad is being held hostage in. Now, helping children steal government fighter jets is clearly illegal. Maybe even treasonous? Suppose they want to execute him for this. And what about his own conscience? Suppose this kid gets his ass blown up over the Pacific. How will he deal with the guilt knowing he led some kid, too young to even pee straight, right into a fiery grave? Won't that haunt him for the rest of his life?
Lou, at any time did you question whether a retired military man would actually do what this character has to do?
When they go out and they see an older man, and especially an older black man and a white kid, they see a positive thing. They see it's great for the future of America.
But he decides to do it. Why? Because the kid basically called him lazy.
But you don't give a shit enough to help him.
Once Louis is in, he's all in. Soon he's got all the kids coming over to his garage to scheme. The hero is helping him run track, scrubbing his back in the shower. For such a serious mission, it's one big party. He's got this jukebox with all his favorite songs, and before you know it, he's twerking. Part of me wonders if this shot was just Louis Gossett clowning around for a laugh. Never in a million years thinking it would wind up in the actual movie. In fact, I think this is the film they ran of him for the Oscars in Memorial segment.
Now be careful to use a deep voice, otherwise they're going to get wise that you're a kid.
There's a sequence where the kids fake some paperwork or something, and the Air Force gives them planes they use for secret target practice. Those missiles are expensive. This isn't like stealing Post-it notes from work.
Did you get to do some flying?
I flew in a Cessna.
The kid's aim sucks. Turns out things are different in the real world than in your big video game, huh?
Let's head back to base.
Damn it, Chappie, I'm doing it my way.
The kid says he needs to be listening to music in order to shoot. So he puts on his Walkman and starts cranking some tunes, and suddenly he's good enough he could bullseye a womp rat. But like, isn't that being a prima donna, to insist conditions be to your exact preference? Suppose you're out there in the real world without classic 80s rock. It's more impressive to perform tasks under duress, not when you're comfortable.
Michael Jackson is proof of what a person can accomplish through a lifestyle free of alcohol or drug abuse.
The big day comes, and Lewis and the kid fly off. The movie has refused to specify where they're going, but it's about a 2-day flight. Not to worry, there's a refueling jet along the way. The finale is non-stop explosions. The kid bombs the shit out of the enemy bases. The movie does that PG-13 thing, where an entire holocaust of fire sweeps over everything, but we never see any of the soldiers around. I can only assume hundreds of men are dying horribly, but the movie has plausible deniability. We don't actually see anyone die. Reminds me of the old G.I. Joe cartoon, where a Cobra jet would get blown out of the sky, and then we'd see the enemy parachuting to safety, just so we'd know Joe didn't kill anyone.
Let's see how they feel about losing $100 million in oil.
And the kid's decision to bomb the enemy's oil reserves seems ill-advised. This is going to piss the government off more than him stealing those jets. What do you mean you blew up their oil? Why do you think we go to war with these people to begin with?
Obviously a film is surrealistic. Otherwise, there's no sense in making it. Otherwise it's everyday life.
Even as non-American kids, this was the pinnacle of cinema for us. We were too young and naive to understand politics or the fog of war. To us, this was as black and white as Star Wars. The good guy was blasting the shit out of the bad guys. It was a child's ultimate power fantasy.
The defense policy of the United States is based on a simple premise. The United States does not start fights. We will never be an aggressor. We maintain our strength in order to deter and defend against aggression, to preserve freedom and peace.
Oh yeah, the kid's girlfriend is played by Jan from The Office. I think we just see her at the beginning and the end. Did she even get any lines?
To Michael Jackson, with appreciation for the outstanding example you have set for the youth of America and the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Mrs. Reagan.
Shenanigans.